welcome everybody again here and into the introductions to NFT and Metaverse. Again, if anybody just joined in, if you want to know more about me and my other sharings, go to the link tree IV phone or scan the QR code. Now, just a little bit about me before I start, so that you know what I have been doing, right, and why I have the credibility to talk about this topic. Now, I started as a programmer about quite some time ago, about 10-20 years ago, and then I moved on to doing management and marketing and sales. Then come this cryptocurrency era, which is the time when Bitcoin is being introduced. I actually get to know about Bitcoin quite early in 2011 or 12. I always kick myself that I did not give even 5-10 minutes to listen to it, and then I only really give some times and listen to it in somewhere around 2017, and I'm hooked since. And after joining mining pools and do some trading, I really interested into the technology behind the cryptocurrency. So I applied for a job in a blockchain company, which is a company that developed the blockchain, the technology itself, and been there for about 3-4 years. What I did over there is mainly about training. Earlier on, I started with training lecturers in the university and developers, and now after I left the company, I am doing on my own, focusing on general public, because I think that it's time for the general public to understand what this technology is about and how it's going to affect their life. And it is only if the general public understand about the technology that the technology can go into a mass adoption. So this is what I am passionate in doing nowadays. So introductions to NFT and Metaverse. I would like to start to talk about Metaverse. Any of you heard of Metaverse before Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg mentions about Metaverse? So people only come to know about Metaverse when Mark Zuckerberg introduced that Facebook is changing its name to Meta. And why is it changing to Meta? It's because they are moving into this Metaverse ecosystem. Now, what is the Metaverse difference than the current one? Is it only about virtual reality or augmented reality, just what Mark Zuckerberg have shown in the almost around an hour long session? Is it only about that? Personally, I don't think so, even though that VR and augmented reality is a big part of Metaverse. Why is it not? Is let me just go into a more proper explanations about what is Metaverse. Now, meta basically means beyond. Verse basically is universe. So it means something beyond our current universe. In this, it means something that is virtual. It is first introduced in a novel about 30 over years ago. I think it's exactly 30 years if I'm not wrong. If you say that it's only about virtual reality and augmented reality, think about it. Have you went to some virtual reality property showcase? There are quite a number that's going on, right, to show you that 3D of the a house, or you can wear if you have the goggle, you can wear it and then go to experience how the house is like, how you feel in the house. But does that mean you are in the Metaverse? To me, I don't think so. Even though we're virtual reality or augmented reality, now the difference between virtual reality and augmented reality is virtual reality is all built up. Augmented reality is you have your physical world, but with probably a glasses, you can see some other probably hologram or anything that also around your actual physical world. But then, if it's only that, right, it probably just gives you some virtual experience. But Metaverse itself is a lot more. It's just like our universe. There is a law governing whatever happens in our world. There is an economic system. You can have assets, you can trade. So a metaverse, right, it's just like our universe or our world in a virtual platform. It's just like another world. That's why sometimes people also call it like, parallel universe, if it's like a mirror of the actual world you have. There are some movies that talking about a parallel universe. There is another universe that is like, a mirror whatever you are living in now, and there is another person exactly like you are in the other universe. So in the metaverse, it would have not only the virtual things, the experience, but it also allowed you to have like a full lifestyle, economic. You can build your fortunes there. So these whole things come together, give you a wholesome and total metaverse experience. So a metaverse now, not everybody have like the goggles. So not everybody will be able to get into the metaverse as if you like immerse into that different universe. Because like when you have the goggle, it feels like you are actually in a different world. You walk inside there, you can talk to the people over there, you can buy stuff over there. That is called an immersive experience. You kind of like get yourself into it. If you know Chinese, there is a story that I find it really tells about metaverse well. And if you heard it before, it's called 庄周梦蝶. It is a story about a person's fell asleep and he dreamt that he become the butterfly. He was born and then become from the the lava and then become a beautiful butterfly and fly around and then die, and then he woke up from the dream. So when he woke up from the dream, right, he was wondering, is he a human dreaming about becoming a butterfly, or he is actually the butterfly dreaming about he become a human? So that kind of immersion is what more can tell more about how the metaverse experience would be if everything goes in place. As of now, the metaverse is still there. People are creating it, and you still can involve in it. You still can experience it more if you have the Google. If not, you still can somehow participate in it. Whatever lacking, it probably is your visual experience. So just want to give you some figures or facts. I know how is it going on for the metaverse as of now is from the tech and devices perspective. The VR gear, the goggles, sales have been generated about like 10 billions. They're expecting to have that kind of figure in this year. And they expect that 2 years from now, it will be 34 millions of VR headset installation worldwide. And then 1.57 billion mobile AR user expected in 2004. That is coming to about like one in five of us would have that kind of like experience or that kind of devices already. Now metaverse, right, have even Meta itself, like Facebook, after it changed name to Meta, it have created a 10,000 job in EU for the next 5 years. It's going to do that because you need a lot of people to build the metaverse, especially in the aesthetic point of view, like building, how pretty is the city is going to look like, how the environment is going to look like, the fashions that your avatar is going to wear in the universe, the metaverse, etc. As of now, North America is the largest share, having the largest share in terms of this metaverse market. But I would say that Asia Pacific or Asia itself is really catching up very fast in terms of all this kind of technology. And in terms of events, even a lot of big brands are getting into like the metaverse, like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, not only fashions like NBA and or even Siemens. They are building their facility exactly. How is it like in the real world into the metaverse as well? So brands like this, they are actually going into the metaverse. Even HSBC, the Hong Kong Bank, is also buying lands in the metaverse as well. We might think that, like, you know, these are the things that only we as an adult might hear more. But then, do you know that, like, you know, when I recently I came back to and I met with my nephews, when they play games, I keep on hearing the words NFT. So this kind of things like metaverse, NFT is actually getting more exposed to the younger generations already. It's not only about that. That's why you say that on Roblox or even like, you know, Minecraft, there are millions of people getting into this kind of exposing to this kind of concept. Now, even if they are not using any like VR headset or anything, but the kind of environment they get into is the metaverse in building. What they are not there yet is just the VR headset. And you see, 45.8 million people saw Travis Scott show in the metaverse. Now we come to talk about non-fungible token NFT and what this NFT have to do with this metaverse. We move on. Okay, I see questions coming in. Who is the regulator for metaverse and how can us monetize NFT? Okay, cool. I think these questions will be kind of like, you know, addressed later on as I move on to the second sessions. A good questions that I kind of like want to address a little bit here is like, who is the regulator for metaverse? This is kind of like related to the technology of blockchain. I detour a little bit to talk about like, you know, the concept of the blockchain briefly. Now, blockchain basically is the technology behind the cryptocurrency and the NFT. Now, all these things built on the blockchain, at least the basic infrastructure of this blockchain. Now, what blockchain is for is it is a decentralized ledger. And what that means is it have all the transactions or all the informations, right, between people recorded into a database, which this database is distributed to everybody in the network. So it's transparent and for everybody to be able to see or check. Now, what is the good thing of having the database distributed to everybody rather than having it stored in a centralized database? The good thing is it is not easy or almost impossible to be edited, what we call immutable. It means that like this information cannot be manipulated or near to impossible to be manipulated. Now, why I don't say that like it's 100% because nothing in this world is really 100%, as they say, except death and tax. So if you know about the why is it, right, you know that like it's pretty much impossible to hack, which I'm not going to go into details here because it's going to take some time. Just understand this. Blockchain technology is almost impossible to be edited. So because of this, everybody that have access to the data is the person who kind of like safeguard the information. And who is the regulator? Generally, everybody can be the regulator. Now, of course, whoever built this metaverse, now blockchain and metaverse is basically two things, right? I will talk a bit more later on towards the end. But bear in mind, blockchain is not metaverse, metaverse is not blockchain. So whoever built this metaverse could have a certain rules there. But this kind of rules might be, now not, I need to make it clear here, not all the metaverse must use blockchain technology or must use NFT. But metaverse and blockchain technology, which involves the NFT and the cryptocurrency is a good match for Metaverse because of this, the technology and the fundamental principle of the blockchain, which is decentralized, everybody can govern. That's why Metaverse is good fit for it. And who is the regulator for the Metaverse? Probably at the beginning, who built the Metaverse would have imposed certain regulations there. But generally, they have the options to surrender it to the community who involve themselves in the ecosystem of this Metaverse. NFT. Does any of you heard of NFT before you saw this? This is basically the collage of 5,000 digital artwork put together. It is sold for almost 70 million US dollar by somebody called People. Now, why is it cost so much? I basically wrote an article about this as well. If you want to know more, you can go and check out on my Medium. Basically, the person paid for it say that I admire the person persistency in making this in 13 years, every single day for 5,000 days. So because of this, it caught the attentions of the world and people start to look into what is NFT, why it can sell for so long. And people, especially artists, start to mint their NFT. Now, what is mint means is basically make your NFT. It's just like you're minting your money, right? So people start to mint NFT and sell it on some certain platforms. And the most common platform is called the OpenSea. But does it really, the NFT is only for digital artwork? I want to introduce a concept about what is the crypto assets that is on the blockchain. So you would understand the relations between the cryptocurrency and the non-fungible token, which is the NFT. Now, there is basically two main types of assets on the blockchain. I call it crypto assets. The first one is the fungible tokens. Now, fungible tokens basically is our cryptocurrency. It's just like our money. Like if I have 100 ringgit and you have 100 ringgit, we exchange our 100 ringgit. Now, your 100 ringgit could be a bit newer than mine, but with us exchange it doesn't affect the value we have in hand, right? You still have 100 ringgit, I still have 100 ringgit. But says, now you have your passport, I have my passport. From the outside, it looks exactly the same. Malaysian passport, red, this big, this thick. But if we exchange it, we flip open, inside there is some information that's only represent you and only represent me. Even though we have a new passport, it won't look exactly the same. So if we exchange our passport, it's not going to be the same because it's not representing the same person. And exchanging it is even illegal. It's not going to get you out of or coming back into the country. So that is non-fungible tokens. So basically, non-fungible token is something unique by itself. No matter how similar tool looks like, it is still different. So that is the difference between fungible tokens, which is generally our cryptocurrency, and the non-fungible tokens, which we usually understand it as most people understand it now, is the digital art or anything. These two big categories. Just want to let you know that some of the famous NFT. Like this is a video clip. Charlie bit my finger that have been on the video for more than 10 years, and then they took it out recently because the owner sold it as an NFT. And then CryptoPunk, this is the very first NFT, even before the ERC 721. Okay, ERC 721 is the standard on the Ethereum that is for the NFT. So this is, Jack Dorsey first ever tweet on the Twitter is also sold as an NFT, and the buyer is Malaysian based. Also, CryptoKitty, this is a game. Like Joey mentioned that he is looking into some games as well. So this is a NFT used in a game. And our local artist Pony made a copper plate of meme bank notes plate, and it's sold as an NFT. Now, not all NFT have to be a digital art. She sold this together with the plate, the physical plate itself. So NFT basically, looking at these situations, you can say that like an NFT is a certificate. It's like our birth certificate of ourselves. Our birth certificates represent us, but our birth certification is not us. You see the difference? The birth certificates represent you. It merely represents you, but it is not you. So NFT represent a certain things, a unique thing, but it is not the actual things. So how it is being linked together, think about it. If a birth certificate is not obvious enough, think about it as a car registration. In the car registration card, right, it will have the chassis number, your plate number, and the manufacturing date, everything, and that is the car. And the car also bear the registration number, and the chassis number is on the engine. So you can see that like there is a link between the NFT, the car registration card and the physical things itself. Now, you might be the legal owner of this car, but the car can be used by somebody else, right? Like probably your wife, your husband, your children, and your car could be stolen as well, right? But legally, you're still the owner of the car, but the car is stolen. Possible? It's possible. The same thing actually happened to NFT. I just want to debunk this a little bit. People said that like it's things are really safe when it comes to when you mint it in NFT. Yes and no. It is really safe is because that like you are the owner. It is recorded in the blockchain and nobody can say you are not the owner. But can anybody copy that digital art itself? Yeah. It just a right click and say nothing so different than that. But then why you still want to buy an NFT? Now, think about it. When you are the owner of the car, the registration card as actually says like you are the owner. Anything happen to the car, you are the one that entitled for the insurance claim. You are the one that can sell and receive the payment for the soul of the car. Right? Same goes to NFT. The NFT give you a certain rights to something. So when you buy an NFT, always know that like what actually you buy, what actually come with the NFT. All right. I detour a little bit, but I find that like this is a very important information. And for example, NBA Top Shots. NBA Top Shots, right? They capture a certain moments that, like for example, LeBron's dunk, the basketball in a certain moment in certain games. They took it and then they mint it into NFT and they sell it. And if you collect, a set of these Top Shots moments, they call it moments, then probably you can exchange it for a different membership or a different NFT, something like this. And then even a GIF file. Now somebody create this and then sold it as an NFT for a charity. And this cat since become quite famous. So you can see that NFT is not actually only for digital art. It can even for diplomas, which is certificates. Now, if you guys know about HRDF or now called HRDC, they actually give the trainer certificates in the NFT in the blockchain. This is mine, and this is what they sent to me, and it's recorded in as a ERC721 contract address, and this is the certification transaction hash. So this just proves that me is the trainer of the HRDC. So it can also be a property deed. Somebody in Kiev have sold an apartment as an NFT. Now, I do not have any more details about how it deals with the real life transfer of the ownership. There could be a fractionalized of this ownership, or it could be just selling the NFT as for the NFT owner to receive a certain profit if this is being rented out. It could be. I do not have more details about this, but this is something that is like, people are looking into. It can also work as invitations, like or tickets to a concert or something like this. Or it can be like a games items, for example, Axie. Axie, the character is an NFT. You get an NFT, you can get into like play the games. Is the GameFi game finance that people are looking into the play to earn module in the blockchain. It can always it can also be used as a stake, almost like your stock for a company. For example, now I have this 10,000 of NFT to be sold. If you buy one of them, you are entitled to a certain amount of the share for this project that we are doing. Things like this. Now, all this, right, you can also look it as utilities for the NFT. Because now what's there after you buy the NFT? If you just buy the NFT and the NFT is just a JPEG for you to look at. Well, if you look at like, just a normal physical painting, there are people who buy it and just lock it into their warehouse, possible. If that is like, how you want to support the artist, you just want to buy it to support the artist, fine. But most people buy it, right, looking into capital gain. But what constitute to the capital gain? There must be a reason for the capital gain, right? So all this kind of like utilities, what this NFT can use for, become the reason that why the NFT would have a capital gain. So this is partly to answer the questions that how we can monetize the NFT. Generally, the most easier one is like wait for the capital appreciations and sell it to get the capital gain. But again, what give the capital gains? What make the NFT increase in value is a very important thing. So this is some of the game that is using the blockchain technology. Axie, Sandbox, CryptoPlate is one of the game as well. Sandbox is basically they are building the metaverse, and people can buy the land in there, and then you build your building, or you want to build your what I call that, playground, casino, or however things. Central Land is the same thing, and there are many more others that are building the whole, not only the games, but building the whole universe, and for people to go in there and develop in their metaverse to create a whole new world. Now, just give you a different perspective into what is a metaverse. I would say that, like, if you look at the island, if the island is a metaverse, you have all the mountains there, the tree is there, the building is here, and then the weather, how is it going to be like? Then the land itself, the property that built, and the character inside could be the NFT. There's something of a value inside this metaverse, this island. Now, you have this property there. What then? Are we still going to do like barter system? Like, I probably want to exchange this land for 10 buildings that you're going to build on here. Now, it means like nowadays we still have this going on, right? If I'm the land owner, and then I won't be able to develop the whole project by myself, I'm going to partner with the developers, and then the developer is going to give me like 10 houses in return if I let him to develop on the land I own. Now, this kind of thing, of course, it still happens, and then it's not wrong. But what if I do not want to do that? I do not want to have the house in return. Then the whole economy, right, would be easier if we are using the cryptocurrency. So if we use the cryptocurrency, just like our money here, so I'm just going to sell my land, my property, and even I want to sell myself and like the avatar in this metaverse to other people, so that like the person can continue to live like me inside the metaverse is possible as well. And that is the usage of cryptocurrency in this whole metaverse. So you can see that, like, why the metaverse, right, and the blockchain technology is a good match. Is blockchain, the NFT and the cryptocurrency would have not much of use without this ecosystem being created for it, which metaverse is a perfect situation for it. And the metaverse is basically just a beautiful place that, like, nothing much can really happening very dynamically if without the blockchain with this cryptocurrency and NFT. So why people are starting to talk about NFT and metaverse together, even though they're actually quite a totally different technology altogether, is because they are really, you can say they are really made for each other. It's a good match.
Oh no, yesterday I heard the news that Malaysia says no to cryptocurrency as legal tender. As what you said, metaverse, NFT, and the economy in terms of tokens of cryptocurrencies are interrelated. Yeah, because like my previous question, how can we monetize NFT? Is definitely through blockchain technology and also cryptocurrencies or tokens to build on it. In all the transactions, then people can actually earn a little bit of money. Yeah, that's called profit. Now, since Malaysia is not so friendly about ICO tokens, we have been talking this for many years. Yeah. On the other hand, metaverse is also a trend right now. Everybody also is talking about that, and yet a lot of my friends also doing metaverse business. Now, back to the bottom line. Yeah, businesses or corporate companies who involve in metaverse with NFT and also blockchain technologies, tokens, and cryptocurrencies, the real objective behind it is to make profits. Yeah. But since Malaysia government is not so friendly about cryptocurrencies, so I foresee it will be a lot of bumps ahead of us, even though we have very good programmers or developers who can build metaverse facility infrastructure. At the end of the day, we still do not know how to really monetize this NFT thingy in legitimate manners, right?
Okay.
I'm not sure you get what I mean or not, because I've been talking so long. So yeah, see how we can have some lights on that. Thank you.
All right. Let's see if I can get it right. I would say there's two perspectives over here. One is like, I think what you mean is like how to make cryptocurrency into our fiat currency. I think that is the first thing. What you mean by monetize is to exchange this cryptocurrency into our fiat currency so that we can use in our if I get you correctly. You're nodding head, so I think that, like, you are that is what you mean. Even though Malaysia is not approving cryptocurrency as a legal tender, it purely means that, like, it's not going to make it into like Ringgit Malaysia. Malaysia actually did not or do not ban cryptocurrency because, for example, Luno is still there. It's still allowed you to, like, banking to get your crypto and then withdraw. So I don't think that is any issue if you kind of, like, want to exchange your cryptocurrency into fiat. So if that is address your concern. Now, beyond that, the different perspective I'm looking into is all this kind of rules and regulations. If you've been in this scene long enough, which you are, because we get into it pretty much about the same time. Luno has been banned and then reopened. That is like some situation like this. Would countries like Malaysia adopt cryptocurrency as the currency, like in the legal tender? My opinion is, I think the whole world is going to be where might not be the cryptocurrency that is introduced by commoners like us. It could be CBDC, which is a central bank digital currency, which is also constitute to a part of different types of cryptocurrency. Now, this is a big complicated topic over here that like, which I kind of like want to oversimplify it is, I think personally, I wouldn't think too much about that, but that is my own choice. It's because rules can change pretty quick. If because of like the rules that they said no today, but we know that like there are still ways for us to exchange this cryptocurrency into our fiat legally in Malaysia. I personally wouldn't be intimidated by this. And secondly, is like if you're looking in the long term, I think most of us here are actually looking in the long term to how the development of the blockchain technology, how the development of the metaverse and all this, right? A metaverse itself is kind of like having their own ecosystem of itself. There could be economic that going on there, and you could be like just spending cryptocurrency as well. Now, how it will be like, whatever you earn in the metaverse, how you're going to bring it back to the real world. It's just like, how you're going to earn a foreign, you earn money in the foreign country and how you're going to bring it back to Malaysia, right? Rules change. All I can advise is like, pay attention to the rules change and take advantage of whatever that like for your advantage along the way. There's something that like, if we want to earn money, like there's something that like, we cannot avoid but to do some homework along the way. So I hope I answered your questions in terms of my pretty much quite a personal perspective, but in terms of like, how I take it. But I do not worry too much about it because we still have the values, the avenue, the legal avenue to change it into fiat currency. So what's in the future for this NFT? Now think of it as this is the metaverse. And one day, whatever the like, digital art that like an NFT that you invest, you can rent it out to any events. Like, in some events, right, people rent arts as a decorations, or the even company would rent arts for a year just to decorate their offices. You could do that and use whatever, like even the Jack Dorsey first tweet and the avatar you bot can be like, the character that represent you in the metaverse. After that, like, hearing me talking about like, what is NFT and what is metaverse, usually when people come to my talk, they will ask that, okay, now where can I start? What can I do? So you can either invest in like, VR, AR hardware companies, buy their stocks, because definitely all this kind of gadget, it would be in demand. I think that like nobody here would doubt that like this is going to be the trend in the future. Or invest in the VR, AR software companies, gaming companies, or you can invest into a metaverse project or invest in an NFT project. Now there are different ways to kind of like go and search which project is good, this and that. Usually I would say look into, there's quite a number of factors, but to me there are two main factors if I look into a certain project. First is if that project, especially NFT project, would have a utility. It means that like what after you buy the NFT, what are you going to use it for? I can't just keep it there and wait for it to increase in value, because if nothing, it have no use for it, it won't increase in value. That's the first thing. Secondly, is like who is the person behind this project. Now, some people have said that like, if this person have no experience, how are they going to believe in that? It's a chicken and egg, if you ask me. It is not, I personally do think that it's not fair for a new person to come into this and being judged by no experience, because the person, everybody is pretty new. Even though somebody have been like in business for a long time, everybody is still pretty new in this. And creativity is something I think that is quite important in terms of this kind of project. So whether the person would be able to answer to your questions with full confidence and really know about the project, to me, it is quite important. So how I want to know about it is like, talk to the person, talk to the project. leader. And from there, right, it's almost like profiling a person. If you think that the person have give their heart and blood, the sweat and blood into the project, I would say that, like, I personally would look into the project. So I just want to take the next few minutes to share with you a project that I have recently invested as well. If you're interested, you can find out. If not, just take it as, like, my sharing, that, like, why I invest in a project, because usually that's what the questions I get from people. So now, after listening to you, what can I do? So I'm just give you a suggestions that this is what I do. If you like it, you can do it as well. Now, this is a Metaverse. This is a project, an NFT project in the Metaverse, and that is focusing into wedding or dating. Why is it? It's just because that, like, the dating game is getting more and more into the scene. A lot of, like, the game, even if you've noticed, even in Facebook, there is a dating app as well in Facebook. And with all the pandemics going on, sometimes a lot of people, like, bring their wedding to the cloud. They do it through Zoom or anything, right? What if, like, you can have a wedding in the Metaverse without flying into a destination? You can create your own theme and all these things. So this is what this project is mainly is about. It is a project that, like, built in the sandbox. If you know about sandbox is one of, like, earlier I mentioned, sandbox and Decentraland is one of the two big metaverse they are building, where they have plot of lands for you to buy. Most of the land, I think they are sold off already. You can buy it off the secondary market now, which means that, like, somebody have already buy it, they sell it to you with the profit for now. So other than, like, if you cannot buy a land anymore, right, what you can do is, like, invest into the project that is going to build on the land in this Metaverse, either sandbox or Decentraland. And this is a project that is building on the sandbox itself. And in this building, there is places for people to hang out. There are places to run events, like, for example, a wedding for different teams. And what important for any project, it's not only that you're building a property in a Metaverse that need visitor. Any project, even that, like, in our Papa Mama Motel store, traffic, it always, like, the important things for a business to flourish. So all these things, right, all this team and all this facade is built to lure in more visitors, so that, like, it can give the investor more value. So for the dating games or apps, right, is reaching a market of, like, 200 millions. So this is a project that is by this company that is called Frag Property, which they are running before they come in to do this Metaverse property in the sandbox. They're also running a company that is fractionized of property backed by actual properties in Australia, which they have is something like REITs. Anybody, like, here, I think that, like, you guys would be familiar with REITs. So they have, like, all the property, and then they fractionalize it, and then you can get their shares and share of the profits. They recently start with this conference about a week ago, talk about the Metaverse, and they just created this Telegram to talk about this project, and then they have about, like, 70,000 subscribers now. Okay, for this commercial building they're building on the sandbox is 27 stories. It's a commercial unit, and it's called the Sparkle. So now on the coming, they will start to build the foundations, and so now these things, right, have nothing to do with the blockchain, because the blockchain and the infrastructure basically is there already. The ecosystem is there already by the sandbox, and then all you need to do is just create the mint NFT. Now, all this roadmap here is basically to tell you that like when they're going to build the facades of this building, even though virtually you still have to like, make it pretty, and a lot of like graphic need to be done there. So this is the roadmap for them. It estimates to start to be ready for business by the end of the year. So this building would have 27 floors, I see, and then 3 of the floor is already taken by one investor. And then now they have 3 floors for open for sales, which each floor would have 36 units, and starting from 8, 9, and 10. And this is the floor plan. And this is the entrance portal, and the exit portal over here. So you can see the layout. 10 floors over here. I like this Jordan Peterson said much is to master a new technology, right? You have to play with it. Now, blockchain itself, even Metaverse, is very new. If you say that like it's really matured, blockchain is somewhat there already, but I wouldn't say that like it's really matured. A lot of new technology is still doing, even on Ethereum. They're talking about how to make the transactions more efficient and more cost effective. So, but you can either be the person who have to use blockchain because you are using it without knowing it, just like the internet nowadays. When even you making a landline call is actually still using internet without you knowing it. Or you want to be the person that like come in to invest in the technology, like invest in the internet before it get like the mass adoptions. So this is the time that like you can choose whether you want to be the early adopter, or you just want to wait until the technology become matured and just be the user because you have to use it, because every day everything is based on it now. So I really like this. I have been always sharing this quote because I like it, because I personally feel that like I have missed out that I'm old enough to invest in anything about internet, but I miss out the opportunities. And I don't think that I would like to miss out these opportunities again. But yet, always I say this is my my choice. This is the building that is going to build on the sandbox, 27 story. Now, how are you, if you're interested in buying, how are you going to do that? Let me just show it to you here pretty quick. To go to a link called the pre-meta prop, you can see just now I said that like, each lot is 0.52 Ethereum. But if you go to the site, it will say 0.6. It's because that like, there is a promo code that I have to pass it to you so that like you can get the discount, a 15% discount to buy. Now you have a few ways to do it, just I mentioned earlier on. You can buy it right away if you have Ethereum in your wallet already and you want to buy it right away with your Ethereum. You can use this method. Just go and click on any unit that's not sold. Follow the steps, which is like, connect the wallet, and then after you connect the wallet, just click connect, select the unit, and then the code is here. Just put DEALIV, you apply the code, and then you have a discount. And you can confirm the checkout after you have read all the terms and conditions that is going to show here. Then you can confirm. So those purchase is direct. So if you have already confirmed, like just now, you read everything is okay, you confirm it, here is what you're gonna get to tell you that like, which you get, right? This person have bought like, floor number 8, unit number 1. So if you do not want to buy using Ethereum, now there is always a way for you to invest into cryptocurrency from the fiat. But if after you are in it, right, if you want to buy using your cryptocurrency, that's fine. Here is only accepting Ethereum. But even though if you have Ethereum, you said that actually I just meant to keep my Ethereum, I'm not going to use it, which I think as of now, look at today's price, I just go and check. Buying using a credit card or probably direct transfer is better deal. It might not be tomorrow, but today I think it is. So you think that like you want to keep your Ethereum, which sometimes I do too. I just want to keep on buying and then just don't want to use my Ethereum. You can either choose to direct transfer or credit card. What you need to do is just click book now, and it will lead you to here. Just fill in all your information again. Promote code, put deal ID to give you the discount, and then you choose the unit number that like you want. Now here it will only show you the unit number that's available. Then you click submit and wait for the email confirmations that will come to you. Then they will have you to give you the instructions how to do it. Then you just follow the instructions and give them your address, your wallet address in order to receive your NFT. Now, even though you do not know how to do or create a wallet, there will be a link sent to you to create the wallet. You can get to all my Facebook page, my Twitter, my Instagram, TikTok. TikTok, sometimes I put some silly video there as well. If you want to see like the silly ID, my YouTube, LinkedIn, my Medium usually would have like more, a bit more technical write-up. And now all the things that sometimes once in a while I would have some sharings, or there are other projects that like I like as well. So I probably will just put some links up there if I find that like there's some good project that is worth sharing. Yeah, you can check it out once in a while so that you know that what I'm looking into. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I only share this based on my experience and what I think is a good investment and something that I would invest myself. So anything in the metaverse, anything in the blockchain as of now is still high risk, high return. So if you do have the kind of appetite, do consider it, because I personally do feel that it is the future. And rather than being forced to accept the future, might as well be the person and be part of building the person who built the future. That's what I would like to be, and hopefully you are too.
So what I can see here is, if let's say with a fraction of Ethereum, we can own a piece of land. Right?
Not a land, not land. It's the unit that is going to build. Yeah.
Correct. So definitely once we bought it today, say we keep it, yeah, few years later, if this things is doing successfully, definitely we will see the increase in terms of value, right? So personally, what do you see about the value projection in, let's say, in few years to come?
Okay. I don't think I would be able to give you value projections. Now, a few things I see from here. First, this is early investment into this project, and they're still building it. The whole facade, right? Even though we don't have to do piling and all this kind of thing, but the facade still need to be there to be pretty and for people to go in there and feel nice, right? The development is expected to be at least can start to use by end of the year. And what you can do by owning this unit is, because these three layers that open for these 3 levels that open for sale is fashions level. So all the units here is basically focused in fashions. And this idea of this building is mainly about event, going for event and all these kind of things. So probably can sell something on the fashions, probably wedding gowns and all these kind of things. Not even though it's not that or any kind of fashions, because now, right, you can see, especially in gaming, people are buying all this kind of, we call it skin. And sometimes it's just like your rings, your shirts, and all these kind of things. We think that it's bizarre. Why people want to buy that? But our younger generations that are actually really doing that, they are rather into this kind of virtual fashions than the actual fashions. That's their world. We might not really get it yet, but that's their world. I've been hearing quite a lot recently because I hear my nephew that are talking about all this kind of things. I like, okay. So I start to get more kind of like I myself also start to get to accept more about it as well. So other than like looking at the appreciations of the capital appreciation after the operations, you can rent your unit out, and the management and all these kind of things are going to be done by the company itself. So that's why I said that I can think of it also something like a REIT part of like that, but this one you actually own the units and the management and all this kind of thing is done by the company. And if you rent it out, how they want to make this unit look like is up to the person who rent it from you. It's just like the person who's going to rent your extra units, they're going to do their renovations or whatever. So all this kind of economy system is going on in that building, right? You can either run your own business in there, or you can rent it out. It's just like you have a fraction of the space in that sandbox. Like now, if you want to go and buy a piece of land in the sandbox, it's like expensive. After you buy it, you still have to build your own facades and all this kind of things. But now it's like you kind of like owning a unit in there, and the rest of the thing is done by others. So you don't have to go and buy a piece of land off the sandbox. Yeah, I hope I answered your questions. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Scan the QR code or go to Linktree, Ivy Home. You can get all the information I can have for you over there. Other than that, do enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will see you around.